Hi, Sarupa here from the soulagentblog.com and sarupashah.com. I'm in Delhi Airport in a little loungy, I don't know what you call it, bedroom, something or the other that I've had to book because I'm on a little bit of a layover at the airport before my international flight back to London. And I've had a wonderful trip here, a retreat, health and wellness retreat at varnaretreats.com, and there's been a lot of time for me to think, a lot of time for me to explore me and really what's going on. I didn't come here to learn a new skill that I was going to implement in my business or share with others or anything. It was just really about me, spending time with me and getting work done on my body, and mind and spirit and emotional body. I mean, it was just everything, layers and layers and layers. And a thing that struck me in this week of getting all these various treatments, I had, traditional Chinese, Ayurvedic, and a series of treatments in kind of each area, was about the impact of negative thinking, and it's something that is a real illness, actually, of mass consciousness. The negative thoughts, the I can't, I'm not good enough, it won't be me, it will never work, oh, it always never works for me. And maybe you recognize these kind of statements that you make in your business. If you're trying to run an event and it doesn't fill and you think, well, that's always me. Or if you're running even a free webinar and you don't get your hundreds and you only get single figures or perhaps low double figures, and you just kind of shrug your shoulders and just have a passing comment that says, yeah, that always happens, nobody's ever really interested in me. Or you get a good number but nobody then buys what you're trying to upsell, and you think, well, that's always me. And it's this kind of like heaviness. You can see even as I'm saying it, I dip my shoulders, we kind of go like that, kind of accept it, and then we carry on. So to the outside world and to ourselves, we're not being negative, we just make this passing judgment, self-criticism, quickly moved on. But it's really time to wake up, actually, to the impact that this negative thinking is having, because every time we're saying something to ourselves about ourselves, and I'm not talking about what we might say about other people or think about other people, this is specifically about what you're saying to you in passing, or maybe you're repeating it as a mantra and you can't stop. But again, it's people on the outside world don't even have to know. It's sometimes our most deepest inner kind of private thoughts, this negative chatter, this negative kind of pattern and rhythm, and it's maybe not even constant, and maybe some of it's unconscious and some of it's deep rooted from a long time ago when things weren't good or things were in a state of disarray for you, or appeared that way for you. So you've kind of kept this, and this energy just stores in you, and I really kind of knew, and I'm sure but this week has really triggered for me this understanding of not only is it stored, it doesn't go away just because you're trying to move forward. You actually need to find a way of releasing it, because otherwise it's just seeping out in areas and ways, and you get so used to living in a way where you're sad and you're negative without kind of being overtly negative. You're self-deprecating, you're small, you hold yourself back, you tell yourself already it's not going to work. You hold that energy of failure, epic failure in some cases. So you hold that energy of everything isn't going to work out. And then when you expect that, that is exactly what happens. So I just wanted to give you some food for thought. I've got nothing to sell, nothing to invite you to, but it was just a bit of wisdom from my weekend. I'm sure there's going to be more as I'm continuing to process, that will come out in various ways, maybe videos, maybe blog posts. I'm not, haven't got a plan at the moment, but all I know is that this has been a recurring kind of thought process for me, and integration about, wow, there is a huge impact. So it's not just in our business, but in the business it's obvious. We repel clients, we don't succeed in the way that we want to. We make it much harder. Money doesn't flow to us. We don't live the dream through business that was promised by, coaches, or promised by our own dream and visioning. It kind of all just feels out of reach. But it also causes disease. There's an imbalance in energy. So it causes health issues. And all of these things that happen kind of almost validate that inner chatter, sabotage, whatever you want to call it. It's a combination of all of that judgment. Validate it so you kind of sink lower and lower and lower into this kind of, oh, it's going to be like this. So it really is time to turn that story around. And perhaps I'll leave you with something as a kind of first step for you, is to start really owning those areas where you tell yourself it's not going to work, where you tell yourself this always happens to me, and it's the bad stuff, or the not so good stuff, or the stuff where it doesn't work out how I wanted it to. So start owning that part, start owning that bit of where you're actually really beginning to understand where you are creating a reality that you wish you didn't. Start there, and then leave me a comment below, and let me know how you're getting on, because that start opens the door to shifting that energy. We need to own it, and I've had to own some of my sadness this week, that actually I was quite surprised was still there, and I thought I'd dealt with, or I thought I'd kind of maybe shoved away, and I had to kind of own it and say, actually no, I haven't let it go. I've just kept it there as a kind of painful reminder to remind myself, remember, you're not that good, or you're not that good enough, or you're not that deserving. So it was time to let it go, and that process was completely revolutionized for me by being at Varna retreats. But it took me to step up to owning and making that admission without dropping back into that pattern or energy. So have a play, have some fun, and smile while you're doing it. Yes, it can be a little bit painful too, I'm not going to lie, when we start to own all aspects of us, but this is about becoming whole. This is about letting go of what isn't serving you so that you can serve you, and in turn get into the service fully that you dream possible for you. So I'm going to get ready to leave this box that really feels like a bit of a prison cell in an airport, but airports are never particularly great. Lounges or wherever, flying, not much fun. But I'm going to look forward to returning home and getting back into business routine from this new energy space that I'm in. So until the next time, I am sending you much love and support to say it's time to just let go of that sadness, time to let go of that heavy weight and burden that you tell yourself where you're not good enough.